The fourth point is education. Education. It is good to consider the education level of the person you want to get married to. Someone will say, as long as they are a Christian, as long as they have good character. Well, I believe character is primary. But for compatibility's sake, education level is very important. This is what used to happen for African men. Our fathers, they would marry these students they were teaching. Back then it was allowed. So he's a teacher in a primary school, he gets a student from another primary what? School, and he marries. That became your mother. So your mother dropped out of school so that she can be the husband of your father. Your father continues with his life as a teacher, and then there's this thing that they call midlife crisis. Midlife crisis is where men begin to think, as they are looking at their family, their potential, their wives, their children, they think to themselves, I may have wasted myself when I married this woman. It comes because this man is going to conferences, professional places. He meets with women who are powerful, women who can speak very good what? English, and he begins to think, maybe I was duped. I should have not rushed to choose my students that I took away from school. And so this midlife crisis makes this man, when people are being introduced in church, let couples stand up with your wife. He almost behaves as if he doesn't know he has a wife. He's in a crisis. When people are walking together to church, he walks like 500 meters ahead of the wife. There is some shame he finds. He finds that things are not matching. Okay? When they say, we want women to carry their hands and contribute on a certain subject, he is very scared for the wife to raise her hands, because he thinks the wife may say something that will spoil his what? His name, because many times when the wife has spoken, it didn't make a lot of academic sense to him. So is education important? Yeah. Education level is important. Here is another reason why it is important. Your education level determines the way you view things in life, the way you view parenting, the way you view culture, the way you treat people. Education level. If the education level of one partner is so high and the other one is so low, sometimes it brings disagreements which should not have been there. For example, if the wife is more educated than the husband, usually it brings more chaos than if the husband is more educated than the wife. Why? The issue is, this woman is now more educated. She sees things maybe better than the other one who is not educated. But whenever this woman wants to give her opinion in the family, I think we should do this. You know what the husband will say? You see, your education is making you do what? To despise me. She says, I think we should do things like this. Maybe she has gone for conferences, she has traveled, she has seen better things the husband has not what? Seen. And she makes her suggestion with humility. My husband, I was thinking we could do this and this. And the husband says, Naigwe, this simple degree that you got is now making you think you make decisions in this house. Problems begin from there. Now, education level may also have this negative effect of what we call, I call it low self-esteem. The woman has realized that she's not educated. So, you're going to a meeting where people are going with their wives, and then all of a sudden they say, we want the wives of our professionals to also say hi. What happens? You tremble because you don't know what she's going to say. After all, you already know her English level, isn't it? You fear. Maybe she's going to embarrass you. And so your wife, knowing that you already fear, she stands up even more with more fear, trembling herself. And the little English she has, which is very powerful, because she is already trembling, what is she going to do? Instead of saying good evening, she will say evening good. And you will say, I knew it, I knew it. Oh Lord, have mercy. You see, And then in the family discussion, when you are the two of you, your wife realizes that you have more education level, you always make choices. So when you consult her, what can we do, my wife, on these issues? She will say, I will go with what you have decided. Huh? Next time you ask her, how many children will we have? Oh, it depends with you. Where should we take our children to school? My husband, God has blessed you with wisdom. Decide. That's not a marriage. That's not a what? That is something else. Marriage is a partnership of how many? Two. People need to consult. And when they reason, you should reason at the same level. Okay? Now, as a person who is educated, your investment skills are high. You're thinking globally. Your wife is thinking what? Locally. Because that's all she has ever seen in her life, locally. So, if you tell her we want to make a shop, you know what she's thinking of? Kiosk. You know kiosk? Aha, that small thing next to the road where you see some donuts and airtime being sold. For you, you are thinking of a big shop in the middle of Kampala. You see the problem? Mindset is determined by education level. Now, your education level also gives you what I would call exposure, which the other one who is not very educated does not have. Now, these things may bring conflict. Not necessarily, but they what? They may in discussion. Not necessarily, but they may. Alright, so you need to have what we call intellectual compatibility. So that when you're reasoning, you're almost at the same level. Not that you have to explain for your wife twice or three times before she can understand. Become impatient. Alright. What else do you need to consider? You need to consider health. What? Health. Health. Some people say love is everything. I don't care how he looks or she looks, whether she's sick or healthy or he's sick or healthy. If I love her, that is all I want. That's all I need. But I want you to know that marriage is not a hospital. Let me repeat that. Marriage is not a hospital. Marriage has responsibilities that when someone's health is affected, they cannot do those what? Responsibilities. You're looking forward to bring to your father and your mother a grandchild. You realize that your wife has a sickness that is going to make them not to give birth. And you're going to have to add a second what? Why? You have not married yet, but you can tell. If you're a lady and you're going to get married, know that marriage has responsibilities that will require your good health. Parenting, giving birth, work in the home. If your health is very weak and you need to be cared for, you'd rather not go for marriage. I'm telling you that you need to think about. I'm not saying you disqualify the person because he had this one problem and went to hospital. I'm saying you need to consider someone with whom you can produce better children who are healthy, number one. Number two, someone that both of you together being healthy are able to engage in life's activities and achieve much in life together. Listen, when one member of the family is always sick, the other partner cannot function optimally. You will always be on toes. What will happen? You're going to work, your mind is at home. You're thinking they may call me anytime. Are we together? So health is a very key issue. Nowadays, some churches, before you get married, they will tell you to look for some evidence that the person is HIV negative or their HIV status. Even if it is positive, sometimes they ask you, are you willing to live with it? Are you willing to what? To live with it. So they want to know the status. Sometimes it is good to know some of the genetic conditions, such as, you know, I hear someone whistling sickle cell anemia. You know that condition can make the life of your children very what? Very horrible. I have seen children who have suffered with sickle cell anemia every day on injection and drugs. Every day. They curse God, they curse their parents. Is that the kind of life you want to give the next generation? No. It would be good if you find that you have a situation that is going to disable your forthcoming generation, to consider it ahead of time and what you can do. Alright, when you're getting into marriage, it's also good to know if someone has any chronic conditions or mental health. Mental health. Mental health. I think I'll come to that in the next one, but you need to think of that. Allergies. Allergies. There are people who have very strong allergies and reactions that can even make them to faint. You need to know what your partner's allergies are to prepare you for marriage. You need to know. You may also need to know their fears. Some fear even a rope. You need to know. I know some are so horrible. The very thing your wife says she fears is what you want to bring to her every time, thinking that that will solve it. If she says, I fear snakes, you always with something that looks like a what? And this woman will shout and scream, and you love it when she's doing that. You are a witch. It's good to know the health, mental health, emotional health, physical health of the one you're marrying, and then you make an informed choice when you know, okay? You can measure the risks and say, I think this one I can live with it. This one I may not live with it. And then you decide. Point number 6 is not a very strong point, but nevertheless strong. Family history. Family history of the person you're getting married to. While we may say we are not our families, we are not our ancestors, we are we. The family someone comes from shapes how they see things and how they solve things and how they behave and how they solve problems. Our family backgrounds influence who we become. Are we together? So it is good to, you may not get a perfect family background because we all are sinners, isn't it? We come from imperfect what? Families. There are always those prodigal sons in our homes that others are going to school, for them they rejected school. There are just those ones, people avoid alcohol, for them they decide they start drinking in primary school. There are those ones we can understand. But you need to consider the morality of that family you're getting married in. What's their character? What is their reputation in the village? You may not know and you may not care until the day you have a problem and they tell you, you know, my father is, please don't be injured, help it back. My father is a witch doctor. Hey, my father is a what? My father is a witch doctor. And in this case that we have with our child, instead of going to hospital, I was thinking we take our child home to my father. He has some charms that can do what? Can work. On the day you realize that your father-in-law has actually killed many people, that's when you get scared that any problem you get in marriage, they may collect your head like that one of John the Baptist. It is good to know. What if the family you're getting married into, you lady, they run at night? In Uganda you call them night, what? Night dancers? Yeah, in Kenya you call them night runners. They run. Here they dance, but there they run. They run. They say they can even run with leopards at night. They sit on their backs. They run. Now, in some families, they say as soon as you get married, the first 2 nights they welcome you. The 3rd night, you must be like us. They wake you up in the middle of the night and they say, our daughter, hey, we welcomed you well. Yes, we also want you to welcome our craft. For us, when it gets 10 p.m. in the night, the day starts. So we want to show you how our day begins. Hey, are you willing? If you say no, they remove some bones of dead people and show it. You say, do you see this bone? Are you willing or you don't want? Now, you may not know everything about a man's background or a woman's background. You may never know. But this I know for myself, that if you're a prayerful person who looks up to God, I said here, God never brings his best into a mess. Can I repeat that? God never brings his best into a mess. At some point, God is just going to open your eyes. Some talk is going to go astray and something will be visible. God cannot allow you to go straight into danger if you are his child. That one I'm sure. So that is something very important. But you need to know Is this family full of mad people? Eh, do they have these mental health problems that at some point you find 4 of the cousins are all madmen walking in the market? In one family, you need to be careful there a little. Be careful. Maybe there's a genetic what? Condition that you need to investigate before you commit your what? Yourself. You may not know everything, but just be careful. What I'm saying is, marriage is a lifetime thing. Take time. Take time. Now, I may not know everything, but I should pray. And when I reach people around that village, I may just ask as a foolish man. I always say there are 2 people that can be very good investigators if you want to know people better: children and alcoholics. All the 2 say the truth. One will want you to buy for them just a bottle of a drink, and he will give you everything you need. And the other one just sweet. Children will always open up and tell you everything about. They will tell you, hey, even this auntie of mine you're marrying, she has 4 children. That she had already said she has how many? 0. And then the girl is telling you, I'm even the second one. There are 3 others. But it's good to confirm, isn't it? Even in the Bible we are told we need 2 or 3 witnesses. So you need to know these things. And I told you, if someone is willing to lie to you at the point of marriage, don't go in. If they tell you, I have never given birth, and in the process of courtship you find that they have, run for your life. You don't know the next deception and how it will be. They can sell you one day. They can be with you in the city and they tell the person, I don't know this man. This man, I don't know him. We just met. He's threatening my life. Please, let us go. He doesn't know you. Imagine. It can happen. So, family history is also something I would say is important. Now, there's something that I found in Uganda that is rare in my country. Ugandans are believers in dreams more than our people. For us, we dream and we say, I just ate too much at night. These are problems of overeating. When a Ugandan dreams, he thinks God has spoken. And so many people make life choices based on dreams, not reason. So they get a certain dream and they say, I think God is saying, she is the one. She is the what? She is the one. And maybe God has spoken nothing yet. It is you who is speaking, even in your dreams. There are 3 sources of dreams. God can give you a dream. The devil can give you a dream. But you can also give yourself a what? Especially the days when you are in love. You dream. You dream weddings. You dream reception. You dream. You dream even the way the marriage looks. You even dream the children. You can already see how brown they are and brilliant. You dream. The future is very bright. Dream. So based on your dreams, you say, yeah, for sure I can foresee this marriage is going to be what? Beautiful. Dear friends, I want to say, do not trust dreams. Neither should you trust your feelings. As we said, in matters of marriage, reasoning should be higher than these other things. Are we together? So for example, I once heard this story, but I'll just give it to you briefly. I don't know if it happened or not. There's this lady who a gentleman from church wanted to her. Hey, I know you know what I mean when I say they wanted her. They wanted her. They kept disturbing her. You know, God is, can we get married? You know, sister, God wants us together. And the woman said, until God speaks to me, I cannot make anyone any step. The brethren thought among themselves, how does God speak? And can God speak my name? So, it's an old story, it's imaginary. So the brethren waited for God to speak, but the woman wasn't giving them attention because God was not what? And so they said, God must what? God must speak. If he doesn't, we will speak for him. So this woman lived with her grandmother, this young lady, and they used to have these thatched houses. And there were those days of big torches of 6 batteries. So this man invests in a long torch. And then he comes at night and he removes the grass on that side of the bedroom. And then he puts the torch straight into the bed. And then he says, I am the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. I command you this day that thou shalt get married to James. And the torch went off. The man was no more. The next day James passing, the woman is washing, and James is passing, and James pretends as though he doesn't want. Just even going to town, And the lady says, James, please, I need to talk to you. God has not spoken yet. And the woman comes and says, please, God finally did what? God spoke. I had a vision yesterday. Bright, shining light from heaven. And the voice so magnificent. James says, What did the voice say? I was commanded that it is you. Oh, wonderful, God has favored me. Praise the Lord. Glory be to God. Oh, let us thank the Lord. Next. Introduction. Next. Wedding. Next. You realize too late. Visions were made up. What am I saying? God can give you a vision, yes, but God does not give a vision or a dream contradicting His word. Are we together? If the man is a drunkard, however many visions you receive, don't go. Whether you saw very many, even if you saw him being converted to become a Christian, don't. Wait until the vision has happened and the man is what? Is now a Christian, then you can go. Otherwise, you have to endure some good beatings, abuses, and you have nowhere else to go. Dreams can work, but don't depend on them. Reason, think, ask questions. Questions are important. Can I add one more thing here? You need to ask yourself about this guy or this lady. What is his relationship with the parents? Ask that question. Are we together? There are people that don't care for their parents. Do you think they are going to care for you, yourself? I'm not saying every parent is perfect and we can love them the same way though, but I'm saying a good son, a good daughter who is going to make a good marriage cares for where they have come from. Listen, when you get married, this woman is going to be a daughter to your parents if you're a man. Are we together? They have added someone into their family. If this lady doesn't care about her own parents, will she care about yours? Will she? Rarely. It is not going to be a magic. And the same to the man. You see, God, I told you, has given us our parents and our families to learn how to love from there so that we go and implement in our what? In our homes. The challenge is, you have this man, every time you ask him, do your parents know we are courting? Those ones are old, don't worry, they are of another generation. Okay, they are of another generation. Good, we continue. What do your parents think about us? Is it okay for them to receive a Muganda and yet you are a Mnyankole? That one is not their choice. It is mine. Okay, you keep following until the day comes and in the wedding you don't see your father-in-law or your mother-in-law because they learned yesterday night that the daughter-in-law they are receiving is not of their tribe, and for them they are very specific. You can't challenge them on that. Listen, it is good to know about the family of the person, both sides, and how this guy relates with both of them. You would need someone who cares for their parents because they are going to care for your parents and vice versa. Marriage unites two what? Families. We need people who care for social life. There are certain ladies, you'll marry them and that's the last day you send money to your mother. Did you hear me? They will work hard to separate you from your what? You try very hard, you find yourself in trouble. You want to send money, you say, no, I told you they will bewitch us. Are you married to your mother or me? She even compares the two of you. And if you remember where you have come from with your mother, how she has suffered for you, and this woman is now becoming a roadblock, there's going to be a problem, isn't it? Yeah, you need to know. Even in courtship, this lady should be able to say, how is mommy? Oh, my mom is okay. Okay, good. Please send my greetings. What? It's just okay like that, you know. Oh, she cares. And the next day you ask this man, how are your parents doing? Hey, it has been a month. Months, like how long? Oh, we last talked last semester. Go. Be careful. That man may be something else. Maybe he's the most wanted, even by the government. So that he doesn't want his parents to know where he is, even you. Be careful. So I'm saying it is good to know these people at that level. The verse that we've been focusing on is Amos 3 verse 3. Can two walk together unless they are agreed? Can two walk together unless they agree? You need to have some similarities that are going to bind you in marriage. There's one thing I haven't talked about that is popular today, that when people are looking for spouses, they consider what we call personalities. They say some people are sanguines, they are very happy and jolly. Others are called phlegmatics. Others are called, who are the others? Yeah? Mela. Are you part of them? There are these people who are habitually sad. Even when they are happy, their face is still what? I may not think that that may be a big issue for marriage, as long as you understand each other. Are we together? Someone who is very jolly can still work with and because they understand each other. If the interest they have for life can go together, they can make it. I believe that two Christians who know God and are seeking to please God, however different their personalities are, God can help them to make it through marriage. They can make it. Sometimes the people say, oh, if your husband is talkative, you need also a talkative what? Wife. The question is, who will listen to the other? This one will be talking before you finish, the other one picked before the sentence ends. They have changed the topic. And as the topic changes, you change. You discuss 7 subjects in 5 minutes. Then some say, if you're talkative, you need a silent person. The question is, even talkative people need encouragement. When they talk, they realize people are just watching them. You know what they do? They shut up and find something else to do. So when it comes to issues with personalities, I say that's an area that we can always compromise. You don't have to be strict on that. God can help you with someone. As long as you agree with each other, life can be beautiful. So number 1, consider the age of the person. Number 2, religion. Number 3, culture. Number 4, education. Number 5, health. Number 6, family, history. And please, do not go according to dreams and feelings. Reason, think. And John 13:17 says, if you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. Let me repeat that. If you know the things we have talked about, blessed are you if you do them.